Welcome to Sector 1 of BWR San Diego. You're watching Slaying the Sector, the dirt of BWR San Diego. Here we are at the Lemontwistenberg. It's infamous, it's notorious, it's punchy, twisty, and kind of tart. I'm holding the race Bible here. Why am I holding the race Bible? Because it's chock full of information that's gonna help you have a successful day on the bike race. Before we even get to the Lemontwistenberg, we've got this crazy 30-foot long railroad-sized gravel rock, really, sharp rock, that is gonna take out many of you. But there's a picture of piles of tubes over there at the end of the day. So for all you that like to patch tubes, just go over to the Lemontwistenberg at the end of the day and you can get all you want, year's supply. Before you get to the Lemontwistenberg, there's an interesting transition between pavement and dirt, and I wanna show it to you. Uphill, off camber, curb, into dusty, skatey dirt, sharp rocks. You've got to be able to turn, lift, bunny hop all at the same time. Oh, and by the way, because it's the first dirt section, we went from thousands of stampeding bike riders on a 4-lane highway, down into a 2-lane highway, down into a 1-lane service road, and now single track dirt. From the race Bible, the race director goes a long way to put this thing together. It says, the Lemontwistenberg is a 4K sector. It is, quote, the most undulating and twisty of off-road sectors. It is extremely challenging with 4 kilometers of single track trail over sand, clay, some water. How much is some? Probably a lot. And bridges with many sharp rocks, okay? We've got some things to show you along the way, but this curb is the entry point. We've got a bridge, a downhill into the bridge, which is kind of skatey and sketchy. We're gonna show you that, and we're gonna show you the exit of this section, which is also very challenging with sharp rocks and a S-turn uphill off camber. Very technical. So settle in, let's get on some bikes and check out the sector. Yeehaw, so we're just getting into Lemontwist. Here we go. Hopping the curb, getting ready to get into it, and you're kind of immediately into an uphill sector. A couple little rock gardens there. Nothing too crazy to get into. Don't get distracted by this beautiful view. That's kind of how it's going to be all day as we traverse the hell of the North County. This is just beautiful, beautiful area to ride in. Got a little peekaboo, quick sprint uphill here. Really important that you maintain your momentum throughout these steep little punches, because it's so easy to lose all your momentum. Got to make sure you're quick on the shifter, quick on the draw there. As you're rolling towards our first section of the race that we want to call out here, this downhill that's coming up, we've got a couple of things. You're going to meander through this really technical single track. We got a couple of water bars, a couple of quick ups and downs. You're going to see we're picking up some speed here. The color in the cameras really doesn't do it a lot of justice, but there's definitely a lot of sharp rocks here. You could make a mistake, easily take out a tire. You can see if you look at the edges of the trail, you can see how rocky it is. There's a very narrow path, so even though it seems like the trail is really wide here, there's really not much room at all, and there's definitely, especially when you're very close to the wheel in front of you, definitely want to be making sure you're looking for a good line, because you can hit a puncture real quick on a sharp rock. We're going to be coming into a nice right turn here. Good quick right turn, but it's going to be downhill. You see that sign? That's your landmark. Into a tight right, maybe a little skid. Ooh, outside foot down. Rip back on the pedals. Through a couple of fun switchbacks. The Lemontwistenberg is just an awesome sector. It's a great sector. I really like it, but it's definitely very, very challenging. So you see these little grinders. If you're not in a great gear, if your bike's not shifting properly, it just makes it so hard on your legs. It just can take your legs right out from under you. Another tight right here. Again, landmark is that fence there on your right. And we're kind of getting into basically a switchback here. It's a tight right. Now we're going uphill. We're working hard. And you're going to see we're going to be going into another left, almost hairpin. And the landmark you're going to be looking for is that power pole up on the left. In years past, this has been a lot of rain ruts through here, really, really challenging. But today, we're going to see just really dusty, actually quite smooth, but still super steep. We're in the easiest gears here. That's a 34 on the front, 32 in the back. Definitely a challenging climb, and that's even with fresh legs, everyone. So if you're thinking about this, thinking, you know what, I don't really need that big of gears, just think about when you climb these things on the way back in. You don't have to do Lemontwistenberg twice, but you will have to do a number of these dirt sectors twice, and these climbs tend to bite at hours 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, however long you might be out there. So another important feature of this Lemontwistenberg sector that I want to share with you is there's a Y in the road. It's going to be coming up here real quick. We're going to veer right. Your landmark is another fence post. Stay right at the fence post. Do not go straight. Please, please, please. Stay right. Stay right. There should be a great sign there on race day for that, but you never know. I have seen people that go straight, even when the sign's really right in front of their face. It just happens. When you're at 185 RPM and you're chasing the wheels in front of you, it's all too easy to miss a turn. So keep your head up, eyes forward here. Coming up to our first little section, it's going to be a fast downhill. We're going to come out of this single track, left turn onto a wide open downhill service road. Seems really wide open, but once you pick up speed, trail narrows pretty good because there's a lot of rocks you'll see coming around this left turn. A lot of rocks, big ones on the inside there. Pay attention. Coming down the hill towards our first section of this sector, a really critical area, which is our bridge crossing. Downhill, braking bumps. You'll hear about it here in a moment.
All right, we're halfway through the treacherous and tart Lemontwistenberg. We're coming up to what I told you guys about, which is this crazy fast downhill into a bridge crossing, and then more crazy dirt with sharp rocks, twists, ups and downs, all sorts of madness. One thing we've done in this recon thus far is found out that it's very dusty out here, and it's gonna be hotter and dustier come race day. You're gonna be coming down this hill at about Mach 7, you're gonna be going fast, and there's a bunch of braking bumps. Seems like it's no big deal, except that it's gonna be so dusty, you might not be able to see through your glasses. Your mouth is full of dirt, and you're gonna come down this thing with a bunch of loose dirt, transition onto the bridge. We're gonna make it complicated. We got a post right in the middle. It narrows an already narrow bridge down to one lane. So when you see a sign at the top of this hill that says slow the funk down, pay attention. It's there for a reason. We gotta get you through this sector so that you can slay the whole thing. All right, we want you to have a great race. Let's move on to the final section of this sector.
As you're coming off this bridge, I want you all to pay attention where that pole is in the center. It kind of makes this a quick, goofy right turn. There's a bush on the inside. You never know. You got to keep your eyes up because you think that turn might tighten, so you ended up taking it very conservatively, but you can actually rip through that thing pretty good if you're confident in the dirt and you're confident in your front tires. Now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of Lemontwistenberg. We got some work to do. We kind of hit the low spot. That bridge is really the low point of the sector, and now we've got to start climbing our way out, and you can see Del Dios Highway out there on our left. We've got a couple more undulations ahead of us, but it's going to be mostly flat and then uphill working all the way through. We've got a quick little zip through this chute. You can't really tell, but there's a lot of rocks, and even just on the edges, I want you to look at the edges of the trail. Look how big those rocks are. If you nail something through there or you just overcook a corner, whew, that's a bad day. And you know, we've come through here in the past and seen a lot of people who have mechanicals, and the trail is so narrow, they're in the middle. So be mindful for all of you trail users. You're coming up and you're racing, and this, as you're going through this, you very well might come up upon someone who had a flat tire, and there's nowhere to go. They can't change it in the bushes next to them, so they might be changing it right out in the trail. So keep that in mind. You want to be on the controls. Make sure that you can get through this sector smoothly. Now we're kind of coming back to the climbing section here. This is just, you're on the pedals, and this is going to be hard work. Depending on what time you come through here at Lemontwist, it can already be hot, and you just feel like you're under the microscope, or rather like an ant underneath the magnifying glass. It gets very, very hot here. There's no wind. You start sweating profusely very early in the morning, so keep that in mind. This is one of the rockiest, most challenging sections of Lemontwistenberg, and you can see the trail looks very wide, but as you can tell, we're trying to cheat it to the right because that's where the smoothest line is. That's where most beat down rocks are, but there still are some really sharp, nasty rocks through here that you really want to make sure that you're mindful of. You can see it kind of do a little weave around some of them. On occasion, we're going to go to the left side of the trail. These are not the only lines available. I want you to keep that in mind as you watch this. They're not the only lines. These are the ones on that day that we found to be pretty good. So on race day, you might have to be on another line, but you'll still experience, and you see, look at all those rocks. I mean, it just gets really challenging.
Here we are at the last bit of tartness in the Lemontwistenberg. It's the last twist in this diabolical sector, and it is an uphill U-turn, essentially, with rocks, shale, dirt. It's madness. But let's review. You've gone through this crazy railroad rock with like stampeding bike riders all around you, funneling from 4 lanes down to 2. Bunny hopped a curb into single track. We've gone bombing down a crazy fast hill into a bridge, off camber, braking bumps, pole on the side, saved that. Been through a bunch more single track. In the Belgian Waffle Ride, you gotta know what goes down has a treacherous up. So you're gonna be thinking of the Capel Muur in the Tour of Flanders if you're familiar, because this climb out is brutal. Legs are on fire, lungs are full of dust, and we get to this rocky section. Okay, we got big rocks, it's skatey, the front end's gonna be all over the place, and you're gonna be begging for more. I wanna see you slay the sector. I want you to have a great race. So you gotta get through each of these sections of this sector flawlessly. You gotta keep the bike together, you gotta keep you together, and we gotta move on to Sector 2, which is brand new for BWR San Diego. We're gonna bring it to you right away. And until next time, keep it rubber side down.